Afternoon, afternoon, folks. Hope you are well. Can you hear me there? I think I'm coming through okay, right? Just give me a yes, thumbs up if you can hear me, just making sure. Hope everybody's well and trading safely. Yeah, okay, good stuff. So I want to start. Good, excellent, well done. I'm trying to add some music into the stream starting soon page, but I still don't really know how to do it. Last time I tried to do it, then it all went messed up, so I'll figure it out next time. Anyway, let's start on the markets, and I want to start with GJ. So GJ, for me, I put an order in. Now for my FTMO, I am, as you guys probably know, I think I said on Monday, but I've got till Friday on this. So I've taken a kind of early entry on GJ, a kind of an aggressive entry on here, stops under here, and I'm going to basically double up on it on a breakout through this area, right? So I'm just kind of going for broke. It's kind of risk-free, to be honest with you. Whatever happens, I'll obviously just get a new one. That's part and parcel of the game. But the setup here is really nice. We've got our 4-hour deep V reversal, tagged the area, come back down, created our smaller V reversal, a nice corrective pattern here, push through on volume, and right now we're kind of digesting that bullish engulfer, right? Roughly back to that 20 there. I'm not as worried about this on the smaller time frames. I know it looks a little bit bearish here, but what I'm mainly concerned about is this, this 4-hour chart. The stocks are kind of wobbling a little bit, which is why we're seeing a bit of yen strength coming in. They're talking about COVID and all that kind of stuff, etc. Stuff that we know already. So I'm not as worried about that, to be honest with you. The setup for me is, absolutely A-star. As long as it breaks. So in my actual funded account, so just for transparency, this is my actual trade here. So this is where the actual money is going, with breakout above there and stop loss here. But as I said, for this one, I kind of need to take a little bit of risk, and that's why I've taken that kind of aggressive early entry on that GJ. Daily, again, we go down to the daily, and the reason why it's A-star, we take it from a larger time frame perspective. Again, very simple stuff. Uptrend, count, channel, head and shoulders, nice reload, few bars here, accumulation. Could it accumulate here for a few more days? Yes. I mean, you could get that on the daily. It could do that on the 4-hour, but for me personally, I hope it doesn't. I don't mind if it does. I'll get it on my actual account, but I kind of hope it does go. I'm not as worried about this 20 down here, because this is the higher time frame chart, right? So my trading time frame still looks pretty good. So yeah, I really like this trade, taking a breakout of this area and stops underneath there. So let me go back to my challenge account. There you go. There's my FTMO. Actually, I probably shouldn't show that online, should I? Maybe I'll blur that out when I edit it. But yeah, I like that. I like that indeed. Okay, SPX. Let's go into the SPX and the dollar. The SPX is a little bit messy. For me personally, it's a little bit. It's still holding this area. Still holding these highs. We've still got price acceptance there. But look at this. I mean, that is an absolute mess, right? Break through the area. A little bit climactic break, which is not what we like to see, which again is often susceptible or often viable for a complete snapback. So we've kind of got a push up, a snapback, a push up, and now we're coming back down again. Tag this trend line here, roughly around that 200. Even though I don't like the chart, unfortunately, it was looking good up until this point in time. Typical of this SPX right now. Price action is just pretty horrible for me. But we are holding this area. We have breached above these two bearish engulfers, which is good. But that lack of follow through. I mean, I don't know if how you guys are trading. I mean, let me know if you're making money. It'd be nice, but just that lack of follow through is really hurting it right now, and we're just seeing it by this. So we get up here, and then all of a sudden COVID worries comes back in. I always think it's funny how if you look at investing.com, if the market's falling down, there's always a reason, but there's always a reason because the market's falling down, right? If that makes sense. There's always something, oh, it's COVID, oh, it's this. But, you know, from technical wise, it's not as looking as nice as it was, you know? That's why these little reloads, I think, make a big difference. And I don't think you get that if you have another reload, that accumulation prior to an area. So the SPX, you've got to go still risk on / neutral. Because it is in all-time highs, because it's holding that area, but it's not filling me with a massive amount of confidence. However, it's been resilient, right? It's been resilient. It's pushing on when we don't think it's pushing on. So you've got to think that SPX rises until it gives you an indication that it doesn't. And it's the same with the dollar here. You know, the same with the dollar. Dollar is motoring. So we're getting to a decent area that we did fail at before. Now, you know, would I be buying the dollar here? No, I wouldn't be. I also wouldn't be buying the dollar here, to be honest with you. But we've had a significant rise. Now, I'm not saying sell the dollar. What I'm saying is we are at an area which has caused problems for the dollar before. And not only that, we have an area up just slightly above it, which has caused problems for the dollar before as well. So, you know, I'm still bullish on the dollar right now. You have to be considering this. Could we have a pullback? Yeah, of course we can have a pullback from here. I think let the market tell you what it wants to do. Certainly by no means am I saying selling the dollar, because even if you have a pullback, you're still looking at dollar strength on that pullback. So I think, you know, could it break through? Of course it has. It's been showing a very bullish momentum recently. The daily chart looks okay, you know, even though it is a little bit extended. We're at that V reversal point. You know, in terms of, for me, being a bit more confident buying that dollar, just a little reload. You know, we can see this is not going to cap in forever. Or this is not going to continue forever, is it? It might come down. Don't discount this and then a fall back. But you've got to say dollar is bullish. You know, I'm not going to say when that's going to end. I'm just saying that there's resistance zones coming up, that the dollar may have a slight pullback. So buying dollar pullbacks makes sense to me, but it's got the momentum, right? It's got the momentum and it's moving. So yeah, dollar still looks okay. Just watch that extension. You know, you're good enough traders to know that you may be a little bit worried up here. You know, I was worried down here just because of that extension. It's kind of motored on. So yeah, just watch out for it, I would say. I think sideways till the Fed start the program. Yeah, possibly, Ahmed. Yeah, I think, again, technically, I think it needs a little bit of sideways action. But I wouldn't be selling the dollar. That's the main thing. If I see a setup selling the dollar, possibly intraday, maybe 30-minute chart, but longer term time frame, I wouldn't be selling that dollar, I think, to be honest. But yeah, you could be right. You're talking about CPI. I think the CPI news data is out tonight as well. Anyway, that's my personal opinion. So with the setups today, there's a few cryptos that I had this morning. Bitcoin was one of them. I bought a little bit of Bitcoin down at 35k, roughly around here on this break. Right, I bought some. I just wanted a bit of confirmation. Oh yeah. I read that this morning, Ahmed. Yeah, you're right. Possibly, yeah, possibly. So for my kind of getting away from trading, my investment strategy is buy the SPX, right? Buy the blue chips, and then for my, you know, kind of riskier assets, I buy crypto, right? I don't really look for these stocks that could potentially come up in 20 years. I'm happy. I know crypto a bit better. I just buy crypto on dips. So yeah, I added to my Bitcoin portfolio. And from a trading perspective, it looks okay. You know, it's we don't really like this bar, right? I think with this price action now, I think maybe I'll take this off. You know, you kind of look at it, you think from this B wave here, what we prefer is a kind of tag and then a go. So it's made it a little bit messy. So I think, you know, you're looking for a setup up here now. Potentially from this decent basing pattern, you could call it you got head and shoulders in there, but I think for now I'll take Bitcoin off. I think the other ones are better. One of the ones I do like is Litecoin. I think Litecoin is the best of the bunch. You know, you can potentially say we're changing trend, potentially. You know, we've got a break of this downtrend anchor here, pushing through, little reload, and off we go. We've got the 200 there, but on this 30 minute, looks pretty good. You know, you have to say this looks quite nice. 4 hour looks quite nice. You know, no extensions there. We've got our head and shoulders, and we push through. Again, slightly different. We've got a good strong push. You know, we don't have it like Bitcoin where it's a little bit messy, but we're looking for that steady state retest to go to the upside. So Litecoin I do like. I feel Ethereum, I had Ethereum as well, but well, Ethereum actually is decent as well. So Ethereum's good as well, going with the trend. You know, Bitcoin, the crypto market's going a little bit, getting that squeeze into the area. Again, retest to go to the upside. I like all of them. You know, I have to say, I like Ethereum and Litecoin, should I say. Bitcoin I'm going to take off because it's not as nice as the last two. And look at this, you know, you go take your larger perspective, you've kind of got your cup with handle there and your head and shoulders. Going with the trend, you know, there's your setup. You can potentially take a breakout, not really for me, but you could, and going with that trend. So Ethereum I like. The DAO also, a few setups here. The DAO I like. We've got our basing structure here coming from an uptrend, nice corrective, push on, and now we're getting what looks to be a potential steady state retest at those all-time highs. So looking for a 20 period catch up, a catalyst here to a catalyst on volume to head to the upside. So US30, this daily chart looks a little bit nicer, you know, than the SPX. You've got your V reversal. Your nice channel corrective there, back to the 20, pushing through now. Again, that context is nice. You know, that context is nice. So the US30 is also something that I'm looking at. And finally, the Aussie Yen. So the Aussie Yen here, again, is nice. You know, like the Aussie Yen again is nice. We've got this context here from this section. All right, cup, channel, push through, and again getting a reaction at this level back to that 20. The only problem here is this 200, so I need this 200 to be out of the way on that breakout. So if we get a little bit more accumulation, so that breakout, right, is above that 200, then that for me would be quite nice. So this yen, I mean, we're not going to say the yen's got some strength, right, because it doesn't. You know, you might look at the smaller time frames and think, oh, the yen's going to build a lot of strength. But, you know, really in the perspective of things, in the longer term time frame of things, it's not, right? It's just a slight little pullback. That it looks both healthy and quite good for this setup. So you could be getting a cup with handle within a cup with handle. And I don't mind this on AJ because, you know, we need that 200 to come down. So I don't mind another reload for taking this to the upside. And, you know, the daily looks okay. Again, look at this. Good bullish bar, kind of almost a rising 3, but for a rising 3 you need 3 bars in there, but it's still a quasi bullish pattern, and this is kind of known as an igniting pattern, right? So the rising 3 or the rising pattern is known as that igniting pattern. So we could be getting an ignition from this area, but again we have to remember it is counter trend, it is downtrend. We could come up to this area and then continue back down, but in terms of that setup on the 4 hour, it looks good enough for me to potentially take. So yeah, I don't mind that. I really like GJ. I have to say, I really hope this kind of comes back up, because I think this would be something that you have to take a screenshot of, right? And you have to put it in your playbook. If you like the way that I trade, or you like this kind of thing, and this ends up going right properly. Not in terms of this trades, but in terms of my actual trades. So your breakout there, your stop loss here. Take a playbook of that. You know, take your impulse, take your loss of momentum, take your harder reset. Okay, it didn't come in the form of an ABC, but it still come in the form as your pullback / harder reset. Pushing on, right? Tag that area again. Pull back to the 20. Push on, right? Tag the area again. Another pullback, right? We're getting, at this point in time, we're getting exactly what you want prior to a breakout, right? That's exactly what you want. You want that load up in positions, right? And you're kind of getting it on slightly, relatively decreasing volume. And again, you add that in to your daily context where you take it out. It's not difficult, right? you take it out from a, you take it from a bigger time frame perspective, then you've got your corrective channel and you've got your head and shoulders, right? And your head and shoulders is that trend change indicator. That's what the head and shoulders is indicates a potential change of trend. So the trend right now is a downtrend, and you've got your head and shoulders there. Bear in mind, this is a daily chart, so more weight comes on those daily chart bars. That is saying to you, potentially, we're getting a change in trend back to this uptrend. Keith, how you doing, mate? Good to see you here. Hope you are well. So this is, I really do hope this goes, and this goes nicely. It would be indicative of this market that this would fall off, but, I think for me, that is just perfect. And I'll show you, before I go, and I'll show you an example of when this happened last time, because I think it's a really good example. So give me 1 second while I find it. How's everybody's trading doing, by the way? Have people been trading? This will be my potentially first trade in about 10 days. Right, where is it? Let me find it. Here we go. I think this is it. Hold on. Yeah, so here, this is an AUD NZD, and again, look at this. This is a daily chart, so if I go through the, maybe for people new watching, this will maybe have some value here, but similar kind of thing, right? So we've got our impulse, our loss of momentum, right? Remember, with the loss of momentum, we're looking for decent rises from buyers or sellers that are just not getting very much reward for it. So we're getting push here, but we're not making that much of a higher high, right? So we're just showing loss of momentum. And then with this AUD NZD, we got our ABC, harder reset, right? Impulse, loss of momentum, harder reset, pullback, same kind of thing. We pushed on, okay? And then look at B wave, we've got a rising 3 pattern. Okay, rising 3 pattern prior to break of B wave, an igniting pattern, right? So that gives us a good indication that this is potentially on the way for a movement to the upside. So we go down to our 4-hour chart, right? So this is where, this on the daily chart is your bigger ABC, right? So we've got our B wave here, head and shoulders at the bottom, a nice channel corrective here, pushing through, tag that area, a nice corrective, push through. Right, so again, when you're here, okay, the context is the same on the daily chart as on the 4-hour chart, but you can see how things, what I'm saying is, how things can add up to looking very good for taking this pair to the upside, right? We're getting everything we want. We've got a healthy trend. We've got a reset of that trend. We've got a rising 3 pattern prior to that area. And then after we break out, just for this example, we got a nice ABC, hammer at C, and look what happened then. So this is why that kind of impulse loss of momentum that we're seeing on that daily chart is so powerful. So I'm hoping, Nick, this is what I'm hoping, because I mean, hope and prayer is not a good trading strategy, but in terms of my 200k here, it would be nice if obviously that was the end result, but let's see. So it's just about having that multi-time frame analysis to help in your personal trading. In that context, for me, great. And very simple, right? Very simple. I woke up and discovered that 2 or 3 of my stop loss got hit on gold. Gold is something I'm staying away from, Keith. When I saw that kind of flash crash or, massive wick to the downside yesterday, it's something I certainly kind of stay away from and let it digest a little bit. So are you talking, so Keith, did you get hit out here on this volatility spike? Is this where your stop losses got hit? Or are you talking about this morning where potentially you're getting stopped out of this area? Like for me, when I saw that, it's just a little bit of, I'm just be like, do you know what? I'm going to let that settle, for me. You're still looking to the downside because, you have got this and it's not suggesting it's going to push up. But yeah, for me, gold is just something I'll just stay away from. I think there's better things to trade, to be honest with you. What do I think of Pound Aussie? Lamb. Let's have a look at Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie was a nightmare. And look at this. So I actually took Pound Aussie to the upside, right? I took Pound Aussie to the upside on a break of this area. And look what, look at this. This is indicative of the market, right? Horrible. So I took it there. I got out for about break even because, again, I couldn't take the risk. But I think you're headed, Lamb, for a possible little ABC on this daily, right? You have had a decent rise. So, you're probably within that complex corrective back to possibly that 20 on the daily chart, to be honest with you. So that's my personal opinion. I think if it does want to do that, then you could see a little bit of sideways action maybe before it comes down to potentially continuing to the upside. But the best place to start on that Pound Aussie, probably on that daily, mate. Yeah, probably on that daily. Again, you could possibly put a fib on it from there and think if it is put in pullback mode, right? But with these pullbacks, if trends are quite strong, which this is, you could look at that 38.2 as it possibly coming back somewhere there and then going to the upside. I mean, I really like Pound Aussie to the upside. I do, and I'll continue to say that. But it looks to be a nice corrective. Looks to be a nice corrective on that daily. And you could look at the 4-hour for something to tell you that corrective is over, using maybe that Fibonacci, using your simple candlestick patterns. But yeah, I like Pound Aussie to the upside, I have to say. Alright guys, that's it for me. If anybody else wants me to look at anything, let me know. If not, I'll be off. I think I've got to get my wisdom tooth out. Oh, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. When your wisdom tooth gives you a little bit of jip. So I think I need to go and get it out. This morning between 1732 and 1728. 1732 and 1728. You got stopped. All right, sorry. So you got stopped out. 1732. So roughly where we are now. And 17. Oh, sorry, you're going. All right, sorry. So you're looking downside action. You got stopped out to the upside. Sorry. Okay. I mean, I don't really see where your entry, I don't see where your entry is, mate, to be honest with you. For me, it's just in that kind of range, right? I think you needed a little bit more, Keith. And to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons why I use this 20 period, right? Because a lot of trends like to correct to roughly around that 20 period and continue to the downside. So using a simple 20, again, if you look at your higher time frames, you looked at this point, it still didn't look ready for, a movement to the downside. And also adding into that, if you look at the dollar, right? You think you got, most of the time, gold and dollar have an inverse correlation. You look at the dollar motoring, right? You can't really think that dollar at that resistance zone. You got to think that maybe we're due in for a pullback. But just using that simple 20 can help you. For me, getting into trends at the right time. So buying or selling gold at this point in time, I would just wait for confirmation, to be honest with you. I mean, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. What do you think about Aussie New Zealand? Aussie New Zealand. Let's have a look at Aussie New Zealand. Yeah, I mean the bias is down straight off the bat, right? A decent little corrective here. 4 hour. You kind of don't want this to break right now, to be honest with you. I wouldn't really want this to break. What you'd want to do is, have something like that, so you've got this, and then it breaks. If we do break, okay, I mean, my bias is still down. 4 hour chart is still good, but you look at this on the hourly. We've had a decent move here, so we could get a little reaction. And I think that would be good for it. I think a little reaction there would be good for the pound, for the Aussie New Zealand. But sell it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I like position to the downside, of course. We don't have to get too picky with it. As long as your stop's decent. Let's say you got a stop above here. Yeah, I completely agree with that. You know, the path of least resistance is to the downside. The Aussie has been weak, so yeah, for me, yeah, I would agree with that, Ahmed. You know, as long as your stop's decent, because if you got a tight stop, it could have a pullback here. You know, it has had a reaction a few times. It could have a pullback here, but if your stop's good, then you should be all right. Sell now, Aussie New Zealand. I wouldn't sell it right now, but my bias is to the downside, yeah. Aussie Yen and Kiwi Dollar. Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen. Rookie tendencies, I guess. I got to trust the process. With go, yeah, Keith, man, it takes a long time, and you learn. You know, you learn things as you go along. I mean, one of the things I say is, I was so hard on myself when I was learning. So I'm 6 years in now. So I was very hard on myself when I was learning, and I never pat myself on the back for things I did right. Right, so a lot of traders, and this was me, like I'm not saying this was me, I would get so angry with myself for doing something silly, and then, you know, every time, don't take it as a loss, take it as a lesson, right? What did I do wrong? Maybe adding a simple, like I'm such a big proponent of that simple 20, because it just allows you to get into trends at the right time. So if you've got that gold, and you're looking at the smaller time frames, and you see a decent extension, right, you can maybe say, well, do you know what, I'm not going to take that yet, because these higher time frames, which again are the most powerful, need a little, you know, need a catch up, basically a 20 period catch up. That's most of the time what you need. So yeah, just don't take it as lost. Write something down. Write in your trading diary. I have a trading diary that I write in. Write your notes. What did you learn from it? And then every week, every month, you get better. You get better, and eventually, you'll be, you know, a consistently profitable trader. Okay, Aussie Yen, Alan, I like to the upside. I talked about this morning. This is setting up pretty nicely. Actually, I talked about it early on, Alan. So if you go back into the stream, I'll go into it. But I'm basically looking for this 200 to come down, this to accumulate a little bit more. So my breakout is above that 200. Aussie Yen, I like. You've got your kind of rising quasi pattern here on the daily chart. Yeah, that for me, I like. Kiwi Dollar. Let's have a look at Kiwi Dollar. Kiwi Dollar looks quite, I mean, you're certainly looking to the downside with that dollar. You're looking for probably confirmation, right? If it's in that corrective here, you take your major level. So I've not looked at the Kiwi Dollar for a while, actually. You know, this looks okay. You have to say, this looks okay on the 4 hour. Pulling back roughly around that 20. You know, you get a break underneath here, it would be all right. Again, watching where that dollar is, watching that DXY to see what it wants to do. If it wants to break through that level, that would be decent. Daily looks good. You know, certainly if you take it as, you know, a simple kind of channel like this, yeah, you get a break underneath here. Kiwi Dollar to the downside. It is a little bit messy. You know, this is a little bit messy, isn't it? You know, some people could look at this as, you know, as this and pushing on. You could look at it as a break of this area. But again, it's not a sustained break. It's not a closed break. So, you know, the good thing about the Kiwi Dollar, if you're looking to the downside, is, again, it looks ready to move in whatever direction it is once it breaks out from that kind of range it's in. But, you know, immediately, you're looking at a potential loss of momentum here on this smaller time frames. So yeah, it could be headed for downward action on the Kiwi Dollar. You got that 200s above. Yeah, I think bias is certainly to the downside, but I would just be wary of the DXY and how extended it is. You know, but yeah, I would. If you're selling, okay, let's go into this a bit more. I just want to have a look at this properly because it's quite an interesting chart. We're obviously in this range. Okay, so we're obviously in this range with Kiwi Dollar. So really, I mean, for me, if I was looking to sell the Kiwi Dollar, it would be down here, right, in a break of this area, as long as the context was good. But if you're looking intraday, I mean, you've kind of got a slight hammer here on the 4 hour for continuation to the downside. But, you know, if you're a trend continuation trader, right now it's not in a trend, it's in a range. So you've got to wait for that confirmation. Unless you're trading smaller time frames, right, and you're trading it on, you know, a potential break of this channel here, then yeah, it makes sense. But you know, just a little bit messy. It's my long-winded answer to that, to be honest with you. So Kiwi dollar buys is the downside. Dollar's been strong, but I would just wait for a little bit more, to be honest with you, Alan. We'll just wait for a little bit more. Let's see what GJ's doing before I go. GJ. Does anybody hold crypto, by the way? Does any of you guys actually hold crypto? So one of the best trades that I ever made was I bought 500,000 Ripple at from 5 cents to bought some more at 11 cents, and then I bought some more at 18 cents. 5 cents, and I didn't sell out when I got to $3. One of the best trades I've ever made. So GJ's looking nice now. GJ's got to move. But I would. This is the thing that I'm kind of going on a little bit, but anyway, this is the thing with crypto is if you are a believer in it and you're thinking long term, you always buy. You know, you buy down here. You buy on this hammer. You know technical analysis. You buy this hammer. You buy this engulfer. There you go. And then you just buy the dip and off you go. So, there you go. Alright guys, I'll be off. I've kind of gone a little bit longer than I would have, but anyway, that's fine. I'll see you all on Friday, and hopefully GJ rises. So hopefully Friday's a nice day, and if it does, I might not only get my free repeat, but I might pass it. But only if it rises. So there we go. Hope and prayer is not a trading plan, but for me right now on one trade, I need a little bit of luck. Alright guys, remember, trade safe, and I'll see you all on Friday. If you haven't liked the video and you liked it, like it. Hit that sub if you're not subscribed, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye guys, take care.